What's up, Knife Tube? We're going to flatten some stones today. So we got some 60 grit, 220 grit sick powder, and we're going to flatten these resin stones. I actually started and I figured, hell, why not film it? Well, this one I just flattened. This one we're going to do now. A little bit of 60 grit sick powder. On a piece of float glass. When you're doing this, you want to try to maintain equal pressure across the stones and never make too many of the same movements. That way you're I'll tell you what, that's some tough binder on this stuff. You don't want to sit there and just go one way the whole time. You need to this way a little bit, this way a little bit, this way a little bit, this way a little bit. That way you're always altering where you're placing pressure, putting the pressure at. If you're always focused one way, you're going to cause your stone, it'll be flat, but it'll be at an angle. You'll wear one side more than the other. So you always want to keep it moving. Flipping the stone around. Especially if you're doing, a serious resharpening or serious thinning, flattening. We're almost there. And also, you want to work your whole place, because if you don't, you actually will wear and dish the center of your glass. You'll dish the center of your glass. We are in business. And you'll add that convexity into the stone. Add a little bit more sick powder. And since these are higher grit stones, I'm going to finish the lapping on 220. Tell you what, that is some hard binder in these stones. Some seriously hard binder. When you're doing this, you definitely don't have to use a lot of pressure. Pressure is not your friend when you're doing this. And also, do not sit and just keep grinding. Like, always check. Do it for a few seconds, check. Do it for a few seconds, check. And that way you're not just eating your resin up for no reason. You'll save you'll make your stones last longer for sure. Hang on, let me go rinse these off and I'll be right back. I'm gonna pause it. Another thing that you don't want to do when you're lapping stones, buy your float glass, but don't think that float glass is going to last forever. The silicone carbide will absolutely eat that glass. Like, this is the other side. This side only has 1 or 2 lappings on it. Look at the other side. Like, that silicone carbide absolutely eats that glass. So it's very important that you don't think, oh, this float glass is going to last forever and I'm just going to keep, just keep using it for years on end. You don't want to do that, because you will dish that silicone carbide. And I know that, well, actually, you know what, no, I don't need to cross hatch those again. I know they're flat. Yeah, you don't want to do that, or you're going to absolutely just wreck your stones. You'll think they're flat and you're reverse dishing them. Like, you don't want to do that. And when you're using 220, don't apply a lot of pressure. Because all we're doing right now is just kind of surfacing the stones. And you're not going to make many passes like with the 220. Very light pressure, just enough to make sure that the stone's flat. See it bind to or grab the glass. I know I got a perfectly flat stone. This is a very important part of sharpening. If you're using even like metallic bonded stones, you're going to have to do this. Now metallic bonded stones, you can do a chemical etch on, just to, get when the stone's not cutting as fast as you want it to cut, and it needs a refresh. Actually, you can do a ferric chloride etch on those, but you're still going to have to flatten them eventually, and it's just part of it. It's very important to try to keep consistent pressure on them. Even with changing it up, you still want to keep consistent pressure on these stones the best you can, not more on one side than the other. You'll really feel when the stone is perfectly flat. You'll feel it grab the glass. It'll lock down against the glass. It'll suck to it, basically. We got beautiful. All right, so we got 4 freshly surfaced stones, and I'll tell you, if you're a sharpener, there's not much better than that first sharpening after a fresh lapping. You got a perfectly flat stone. The bevel just locks to that. You can feel that bevel lock to that flat stone so nice, and that's when you're going to get the crispest edge off those stones, is on that fresh after a lap. Like, as a sharpener, freshly lapped stones, that's when it's the best. Anyways, I've got a bunch of stones I'm going to lap, but I don't want to keep y'all through, an hour and a half of lapping stones, so, because I got a bunch of bench stones I need to flatten and lap, so, just figured I'd show you guys doing this and talk y'all through it. because I know there's a lot of people that they just get them, they don't even know that they need to do this, and then, you know, before they know it, they've got dish stones, and they don't even really know it, and then they're, you know, it's causing them problems. So take care of your stones. Make this right here will keep the stone performing for you for at a high level much longer than if you don't take care of them and you start to dish them, and then, you know, then it takes so much material removal to get them flat again. Just, you know, and something I suggest is when you hear the company say, yeah, these stones are, you know, ready to go out of the package if they're resin stones, they can be close, but they're typically not super flat. My suggestion is when you get a new set of resin stones or a new resin stone, that you immediately, before your first sharpening, that you lap it, because you know, very seldom are they actually perfect. Usually they're some off, and occasionally there'll be a lot off. So, you know, just when you get them, and sometimes also there'll be a like a glazing on the stone. I don't know if it's from how they flatten them or how they cut the resin, but you know, they'll have a glazed surface. So it's much better when you get them, do a quick lapping, and then you'll know that the stone's flat from the start and that they're going to cut right. Because if they've got that little bit of glaze on them, they suck. So it's important. Get you some silicone carbide powder, a piece of float glass. For 1x6s, I suggest a 12x6. And if you're, you know, doing bench stones, I use a 24x24. So 24 inch by 24 inch. For the 1x6s, 12 inch by 6 inch. Just get you a piece of float glass, and keep in mind that float glass is not going to last forever. It'll last a while, but you know, you can check it. You can put a straight edge against it after some use. Look, see if you see light between the straight edge and the plate. As soon as you start seeing that, flip it over, use the other side. Believe it or not, it does wear it pretty quickly. Not super fast, but pretty quickly. So yeah. Anyhow, there it is. Lap your stones. Don't be scared to do it. It's part of it. When you're lapping bench stones, sometimes it can, especially like water stones, it can be a pain in the ass, but especially if you got a bunch of stones. But take care of your stones, and they'll take care of you. All right, guys.